Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to try and make this reading quick because I have a really busy week, but it wanted to come through. And I'm so sorry to my Pisces friend who said, where is Pisces reading? But the way that I'm doing the readings at the moment is shuffling this big stack of cards, and it's all the character cards from 4 different decks, and seeing who my guides want to choose to talk about or talk to. Like, this, who's this reading for is what I asked. And we've got Aries and Taurus again, so it's coming through these cards. So I don't know if it's the same energy that I keep reading for, or if it's a different energy. Maybe somebody just really needs a lot of readings at the moment. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe they need a bit more advice than usual. But it is the Emperor is back. It's this kind of mermaidy, merman, King Triton type Emperor. So this is Aries, Taurus. The Hierophant, which is Taurus. This can indicate higher education, getting advice. It can indicate the presence of God, or kind of patriarchal society systems like the government or the church. And we've got the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands, again, typically is very Aries for me. It can also be Sagittarius, with it being a horse on the card, but it's a very impulsive energy. It's very impulsive. It does things, this person will do things because it feels right at the time, right? They get the urge to do something and then go and do it, right? They don't really think about it. It's just like, this feels right in the moment. I'm going to go and do this. I'm going to go and say this. I'm going to follow my passions. So really impulsive. Now, I always say that the Emperor, with them being all 4 kings of the tarot, and just remember that you can, gender's quite fluid in tarot, so you can, you know, women can be in Emperor energy as well, and it doesn't have to be a fixed sign. We've got a lot of different placements, a lot of different planets that move around our chart. So Aries touches us at some point, at some time. We're going to have Aries energy. It could also be Mars energy, very Mars. So do look at your Mars placements as well. So yeah, it could also indicate some kind of father or even grandfather type figure. It looks to me like, to me, these 3 cards together look like an older gentleman, perhaps a father or a grandfather, and he's gathered the kids around him and he's telling them tales of his youth, right? Tales of his exploits. This is what I did when I was young. Learn from my mistakes, you know, that kind of thing. So what you always say about the Emperor is he's all 4 kings of the tarot. So he's one of those is the King of Wands, and you don't get to be the Emperor if you're not the King of Wands, right? And you don't get to be the King of Wands if you haven't been the Knight of Wands, because the Knight of Wands teaches you how to make mistakes, right? The Knight of Wands teaches you how to fall off the bike and ride it better, or fall off the bike and get back on it. So the Emperor really has faced a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations. They've made a lot of mistakes, and they've grown and they've matured from those experiences, which is why they're so wise. This is why they can pass on information, because they've been there and they've done it. So you don't get to be an Emperor in the upright if you haven't gone through all this, if you haven't made some mistakes. You would be, if you didn't have any of that experience, you'd be an Emperor in the reverse. This is somebody who's not qualified for the job. So we're talking Emperor in the upright who has been a Knight of Wands at some point. This could also be like father and son, and again, switch the gender around as needs be. But it could be like, this is the parent, this is the child or the grandchild. I have to say the child is coming through really strongly. I was working yesterday, I work in a really busy kitchen. I think I was buttering some toast or something at the time. And just all of a sudden, Baby Yoda, right, Grogu, popped into my head. I was like, I'm seeing the child. Why am I seeing the child? Because like this, in the middle of everything, this chaos, this image came through, and it was really funny to me because Sam Tarot, who is another tarot card reader on YouTube, she's done her Virgo reading and her Libra reading, which is showing up here and here, Virgo energy, Libra energy, with this the child card, which hasn't come out for you, but super curious to see that the child is coming through. So again, this could be the child, the grandchild, and trying to give them some sage advice, right? Trying to pass on that education to the children, so that they, you know, maybe you can spare them a mistake or two. So what's really interesting to me is actually, oh, how do I want to do this? The song that came through for you was Back in Business. So I don't know what this emperor's been up to. I don't know if he's had some business issues, some business problems, or it could just be getting on with life, but he's back in business. So that's a song by Madonna. Interesting, the reference to Madonna along with the Hierophant card as well. Could it definitely be something to do with religion? For some of you, not all of you. I saw a black and white kind of patchy kitten. It's another thing that I saw intuitively. You may be getting a lot of interruptions, a lot of, you may be finding it hard to concentrate at this time. A lot of people making a lot of noise around you and you're trying to get on with something. I was seeing what started out like a black hole, but it became this like concave, black mirrored surface. Now, it really reminded me of when I go to the Science Museum, there's this kind of one of these. It's like an optical illusion, a trick of the light. So this black kind of mirrored concave void space. And because it's mirrored, as you put your hand in it, it almost creates this 3D mirrored reflection of whatever you're doing. So you can put your hand in and kind of your own hand will come back at you, the same hand. I can't do that, obviously, I've not got two right hands, but you can actually kind of like go like this and shake your own hand like in the reflected space. It's an optical illusion. It's really clever. So yeah, it kind of this concave surface, it kind of grew and grew and grew. I ended up kind of walking past my own reflection, like walking past myself as though I was going into the void and my mirror self was coming out of the void, which I thought was incredibly curious and interesting. And then I had this thing about being in that cave space, being in the almost like it became a bubble, which is curious to me that this card should come out, like being inside a bubble, but the bubble's surface was this almost like a lens. So if you think about, it was coming through with this protecting you from the sun, like the sun being too hot, the sun being very overpowering. So if you think about having sunglasses on, for example, or if you had some kind of telescope, you might have a specific lens for that. Or if you had I don't know, if you were in the car, sometimes you have like a mirrored glass on the car to stop the sun coming in and heating up the inside of the car. So it was this black mirrored glass surface. And with this is a message coming in about the sun, which is the energy that I've been working with. If you've been listening to my readings, I've been working with pure white light, kind of like God energy, universe energy, creation energy, and it's coming through with like unconditional love as well. But that could be incredibly overpowering, right? So we do have very hot weather in the UK right now, and it is sweltering. It's too much. So it could just be coming through with a message of the sun can be overpowering, something about radiation as well. So make sure you cover up properly, wear your sunscreen, wear your SPF, wear your sunglasses and protect yourself from that bright sun. But it could also be talking metaphorically about the bright light of day, right? The full information, the full energy of a person perhaps being incredibly overpowering, and perhaps to have some kind of veil or lens up to soften the strength of the energy coming through. So I was also seeing like a silhouette, what else? Veil between sun radiation, screening, because I was getting like a car screen, a sunscreen. So screening. I did have a dream actually last night that somebody told me they had the C word. So somebody may have to go to screening or maybe going to screening. Maybe you're going to the screening of a movie or something. So again, obviously sun radiation can cause cancer, so wear your sunscreen. I think it's a big message coming through there. And then the moon is a way of filtering the sun. So the moon is coming through quite a bit in this reading, curiously. So there could be something about softening the light of this overwhelming kind of creation energy of the sun. There could be something as well about the protection from the sun, or protecting the sun as in the child, right? So protecting the child. Yeah. A refresher course, somebody could be doing a refresher course, and that is all my intuitive messages. So what we have here with the cards, we have this Aries energy, and behind the Aries energy is a very Libran energy. So it doesn't have to be those signs. Again, it could be somebody's placements. Somebody could have all like, you know, Aries, Taurus, Libra, Virgo placements in their own chart. But it's coming through with advisor to the king or advisor to the throne, right? So we have the emperor and the hierophant, right? So this could also be like church and state, right? The two patriarchies, church and state. It doesn't have to be a patriarchy as well. You know, do know that there's some divergence, but commonly, if we look at throughout history and throughout the world, typically there's a lot of men involved in politics and running the state, you know, historically speaking. So that's what I'm talking about. And of course, there are great men. These are both in the upright, so they're in the positive, and there are people who abuse that. So I would say that generally we're talking about people who are doing the right thing. Positive symbols of male authority with these two cards in the upright. But again, with that Aries placement, it does come through with a little bit of instinct, right? A little bit of impulse. And the wonderful thing about this is it's coming through with this Queen of Air energy, who's very much coming through as an advisor. Now, that's the natural meaning of the Queen of Swords. She can be an advisor, a judge, legal advice, this kind of thing. She's got this owl, so she's very, very wise. The Queen of Swords is all about communication. She is coming through a little bit like conscious, like a little bit like the bird on your shoulder, you know, whispering in your ear, the power behind the throne kind of thing. You know, a very, very trusted advisor, I want to say. She tells the truth. The Queen of Air tells the truth. She's honest, but she's also very tactful, and she knows when to speak and she knows how to say it. So it's interesting that it should come out here, but it's also coming out in the underlying here with, it's like planning. It's like, here's the Fool energy. So this is Aries energy. It's the impulsive side of Aries. It's the beginner's mind side of Aries. And then the advisor, right? Okay, let's be cautious about this. Let's plan this. So it's kind of saying, okay, what I see is happening in the cards is because there's all this beginner's mind, taking life as it comes, fresh start energy all over the reading. And it's like this energy, this lawyer, this advisor, perhaps advising you in some kind of contract that you want to start or possibly get out of. It's like, you know, again, it could be seeking legal advice because there's some kind of contract involved. She seems to be saying, take it slowly. Let's, I see what you want to do. Let's do this the right way. Let's do this one step at a time. Let's plan. Okay, let's figure this out. Let's write down some ideas, perhaps. So she seems like it's a really nice balance, because I think I was talking about this in one of my readings about Aries and Libra being polar opposite signs. I'm a Libra. I'm very people say Libra is indecisive. It's not so much that Libra is indecisive. It's like Libra sees every side of a situation. They see all the black and white areas. They see the complexity. They are a very logical thinker. So they want to weigh up, because they're the scales, right? So they want to weigh up all the pros and cons of a situation. So they are decisive. And when they make a decision, it's normally very fixed and very wise. And they stick by it because they've put so much thought into it. But it's a slow process, right? To think about all those different factors. It is like something going through the courts, where you have to look at everything in fine detail. Again, very Virgo. I don't know if there's somebody who's like Virgo, Libra cusp, or has strong Virgo and Libra in the chart, because it's very, very analytical. It's very, let's dot the I's and cross the T's. The Aries energy is much more impulsive. Aries is like jump first, ask questions later. Like, right? It's like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go and do it. And then if I make a mess of it, I'll fix it. Right? It's like, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it kind of energy. So it's a nice balance actually to have. Again, I don't know if this is almost, it's funny, I'm going actually seeing older relatives, like grandparent relatives today, grandparent family. And it kind of makes me think of that, even though that's not their placement, right? That's not their signs. But it really does give me that kind of like, you know, maybe a married couple even, and you know, the emperor is the leader, the emperor makes the decisions, the emperor is impulsive and fun, but they have this quiet voice behind them saying, yes, that's a great idea, let's figure out how we can do it, let's slow down, like you can have what you want, just a little bit of patience, a little bit of planning, and then you're going to have what you want, but you're going to do it in a way where you don't have to worry about things, right? Because you've done the worrying, you can just go and have fun. That's how it seems to be to me. It's like if we do the worrying now, if we do the proper planning, if we figure out all the details now, when we go on that vacation, we can just, you know, not worry about money, not worry about where we're staying. We can go with the flow, and everything's kind of already figured out for us, which is a really, like I say, it's a really good balance, because it stops that emperor making the silly mistakes, and it gets the Queen of Air to kind of speed up and have fun a bit. So what's really interesting to me is like all three cards, these three cards came out together from different decks. They're all very Libra. So again, the contracts can talk about legalities, which is the Queen of Swords energy. The Justice card as well is also Libra. And boundaries, the Queen of Swords kind of notoriously or famously in the tarot has very, very strong boundaries. She will draw that line in the sand and say, this is what's acceptable and this is what's not acceptable. These are where my boundaries are. This is my protected space that I expect you not to cross. So if you think, for example, the room that the jury retire into in a court, you know, that is a clear space that is defined, and, you know, there's people who can go in there and there's people who can't go in there. So this very clearly defined, again with the contract, like very clearly defined rules and boundaries about a situation. With this legal advice, perhaps could even be like a restraining order, I don't know, but I don't think it's that, but again, another variation. I feel like the boundaries are coming down a little bit, so you can see this kind of butterfly breaking in or breaking out. Feels like a chipping away at the boundaries, perhaps to free up. Perhaps the emperor is chipping away at the Libra's boundaries, the Queen's boundaries, to free her up and get her to be a little bit more going with the flow, right? So it's almost like this balancing act between these two energies, these two polar signs, where they're kind of challenging each other and balancing each other out and bringing out a little bit more of each other's energy in each other, right? It's interesting. So then we have I'll just show you all these cards. So Drifter, experiencing life as it comes. First breath, beginner's mind. What else? Movement towards adventure, action, surrender, right? So all this energy of like something new, something exciting, taking action. The Emperor is all about action. It's all about giving the orders, setting the direction, and acting on it. So all this beginner's mind energy. And then we've got things like renewal, transmutation, and purification. Again, like the purification of the sun energy, the purification of the pure white light energy. So I don't know if this is something that's being perhaps a contract that's being renewed, you know, with renewal, like you have been chosen to have a renewal of your contract, you have been chosen to have a review of your contract, to have a new contract written up. Again, it doesn't have to be a literal paper contract, it can be a contract of the soul, right? A contract between you and God, you and the universe, you and another person that you have a soul bond with. But with the first breath and beginner's mind, there's something about releasing things. It's got this energy of like, let it go, let it flow, let it go and let it grow, right? So it's like, if you have too much stuff, like if you're juggling too many things, you may have to let some things go to have this new start, because it's coming through as like almost restrictive, right? The bubbles are coming through with this restrictive energy. It's a compression energy. So it's like, give those things away, kind of give it away now, because you have benefactor, right? Grace and generosity. I love this card. Like, look at these guys. I like mice. Yeah, sometimes mice in the tarot can get a bad rap because they can come through with like things that gnaw, right? Things that nibble away. But they also come through with this energy of pay attention to the details, pay attention to the small things that could be nibbling away at your money, perhaps. But here it's coming through with this gorgeous enjoying what you have energy, especially with this card as well. Again, these are all different decks, and the cards that come out are really giving us a clear message with nourishment. It's like having more than you could possibly need, having enough to share with others. So again, these two characters may have done very well for themselves in life. You know, they may be quite comfortable. They may have maybe not rich, but enough money to perhaps have accumulated quite a lot of stuff. So it could be this energy of, while it's lovely to have a lot of things and a lot of nice things around us and a lot of food on the table, you know, there's enough, you know, there's only so much that one person needs. You know, this girl is not going to be able to eat all that fruit, I wouldn't think, and before he goes off, you know, she's probably going to get an upset tummy if she eats all that in one go. So it's like, share what you have, give with grace and generosity, give to your friends, give to your family, and nourish others, right? Share what you have. And as you give, it unencumbers you, right? It gets you less stuck. So as you give things away, you become more free. And then I love these two cards back to back. Can you see? These are from different decks, I think, by, yeah, different decks, different artists. So just to kind of show you what I've got going on here, we have, what do I have going on here? Yeah, so this one is the Shaman's Dream Oracle by Alberto Villoldo and Colette Baron Reid. And then this one is the Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. So two completely different publishers, I think. I want to say two different, yeah, Hay House and Rockpool, completely different artists, completely different publishers, completely different artists. And yeah, look at the similarity of these two images. It really is making me think of, I've been getting a lot of like ballroom dancing and the kind of beautiful gowns that people wear when they're waltzing, and it looks like they're doing ballet or something. So it's like this freedom of expression, this it's just like throwing it all away, like throwing it all up in the air and dancing, right? And being light and being unburdened and being free and just enjoying the pleasures that life can give you, and action and adventure as well. Maybe it is a screening of a TV show or a film or something, but again, it really feels like this is the Libra energy. So even though this reading is for the Emperor, the Emperor, the Hierophant, this kind of Aries, or the Knight of Wands, right? The Emperor, the Aries, the Taurus energy, this masculine energy. We have this more feminine energy, this advisor who seems to have these strict boundaries, these strict rules, and these contracts that she's agreed to. And it's like, as she breaks free from these things, because look at how she has these wings on her, it's like her wings are on her head, her wings are on a crown chakra, and you can see this here as well, especially with this blue color. It really feels like her, right? It really feels like she's free to dance, she's free to move, she's free to go with the flow and have some excitement and action and adventure in her life. Oh, we have this beautiful family card as well, which the wolves, again, very, very Virgo. Virgo and Virgo here. This it's like pulling your friends and family close, right? Being dependable for others. But also, like, if you think about the alpha wolf, right, and the emperor, it's like making the decisions, taking the action, doing things not just for yourself, but for the others too. I mean, that's very much, for me, the definition of the emperor, right? He's running a ship. So whether this is the guy who, you know, is the boss at work, or this is the guy who is at the head of the family, you know, he's doing it. He's not really the emperor if he's not leading anyone. So you know, having a pack, having a family, having people around you, and just again, like that, you know, if you imagine wolves cuddling up together and snuggling up and sharing the warmth. So there's this real beautiful energy to this reading. And yeah, I don't know if there's something that with this renewal, it's like being chosen, being picked, but also what's it getting from this card? like being selected perhaps to have a renewal of a contract or something like this. Or he's wearing a crown, so again it could be like somebody being chosen to step into a leadership position. I actually do have on the bottom of the Sacred Forest Oracle, we have Stag Spirit and Leadership. It didn't come out in the cards, but I did notice that it was on the bottom. So again, all these things going on with the crown. So with this renewal, going with the flow, again, like being very free, right? There's only so much that you can put into that ship. So it could be talking about somebody moving house, right? And having to give a lot of the possessions away so that they can travel a little bit more lightly, right? Somebody perhaps who is going from a fixed job, you know, where you have a specific location, a specific home, to perhaps a job where perhaps they're going to like area management, right? So they're going to be moving a lot more. So it's like pack your bags but travel light, or, you know, what can you take with you as you kind of move around? I used to do a job. I worked for a shop and I was a visual merchandiser, so my job was setting up the displays, making the store look good, and placing the products so that I maximise sales. So it was kind of like it was kind of a mix of visual and creative and kind of logical and business and money orientated. So very, again, very Queen of Air, right? Ruled by Libra, she's ruled by beauty, but also she has that very analytical mind. So I'd sit there with this massive report of like hundreds of departments of different, you know, and I'd go through and work out what was performing and what wasn't performing. And, you know, so like where is that in the store? Is there anything we can do to sell that more? And I would make a lot of money. You know, I'd see the impact of the decisions I was making on the sales. So and also, like, if this store wasn't kept to a visual standard, you know, if the beauty wasn't kept, the sales would also drop. So it wasn't just, do we have the product on the floor in the right places? It's also, does it look good? It was this mix of the left side and the right side of the brain, right? And getting that balance right. So, where was I going with that? So yeah, I had to, part of that job was going around the country, and if a store was having a refit, or, you know, it had to hit a certain standard, right? Like the contracts, like the certain set of rules of what the store should look like. I would be going to those stores, staying overnight in hotels and setting up those stores. So again, this thing about having your suitcase and traveling lightly. So it could be something like that going on, where somebody's getting contracted to play a more active role, like physically active, where they're moving more. But yeah, there's this renewal, right? This beginner's mind, this refreshing, perhaps coming to something with a fresh perspective as well, or looking at your situation through a fresh perspective, something that is transmutating and having a purification. So it's like, again, like cutting away the baggage, cutting away the dead branches, this purification perhaps of the soul, where you're burning away, because it's the fire, right? It's like burning away. Like the fire to me is representing that sun energy, the bright light, pure creation, pure God essence energy, like the pure essence of your soul. It's like anything that doesn't match that vibration is not gonna be able to stand that. Is not going to be able to stand flying that close to the sun. Something like that. It could be talking about, again, with this energy being very, very high up, right? This is like the rule. I'm hearing ruling class, which sounds very elitist and yucky, but it's like the people who are making the rules, making the decisions, writing the laws, perhaps. You know, they are very high up, because if you think of that Icarus flying too close to the sun, it's a message to say, don't get overconfident, don't almost like don't put your head above the so they're giving me different analogies from classics. So there's another very, very old piece of writing from, I think it's Greece, where the guy is talking about chopping corn, and it's like, you don't want the head of the corn to rise too high, because it's going to be the first to get the chop, right? So that's talking about, you don't want to be the figurehead, because like in British politics at the moment, all the big players in the Conservative Party are suddenly facing the chop, or you know, resigning. So it's like, but this seems to be a message of, if you fly, like you are able to fly close to this sun, this ruling energy, and in doing so it's going to burn away from you anything that is unnecessary, and you are going to come out of this on the other side purified, having only what you need. So it is asking for this surrender, and again this surrender seems to be surrender the over plenty that you have, right? Surrender the excess baggage, surrender the overflow of your life, right? So it's like, be willing to give, because when you give with a generous heart, when you give away, when you take only what you need and you give the rest to others, it allows you to move into this much lighter, very, very fun, very beautiful, like it's like dancing, like go with the flow, drift towards adventure, take action. It's going to make it easier for you to do what needs to be done, is the message that's coming through there. So let me just give you a few songs that clarified some of this. So my coffee, it's so warm as well. I'm like, why am I drinking coffee on such a warm day? So I can't remember what I asked when this song came through. It might have been like an overview message for the song. But you have Me Versus Us by Taylor Parx. Right now it's Me Versus Us. So it's almost like, don't get into your own head about whatever form this relationship seems to be taking, because it actually seems quite balanced. So it's like, don't get in your head about it. Just kind of experience this situation, experience it as it comes, right? Deal with what's in front of you, and allow yourself to be swept towards this transformation, perhaps. The Fool card and the kind of action and adventure energy was clarified by Let You Love Me by Rita Ora. So again, this thing about maybe dropping the boundaries, maybe being less of the ice queen and allowing people to get a little bit closer to you, you know, and letting the family snuggle up to you in some sort of way, seems to be one of the messages. I wish that I could let you love me. I don't know. And then, funnily enough, again, with this kind of trapped energy, the benefactor and the nourishment card were clarified by Prisoner by The Weeknd and Lana Del Rey. So I don't know, maybe go and have a listen to those songs, maybe watch some of the videos and see if anything pops out to you. Oh, so no, that was sorry, I got it wrong. Renewal, transmutation and purification. So here, and here, that was clarified by Prisoner. So maybe getting unstuck, right? And then a fresh start where you're less stuck. Benefactor and nourishment were clarified by If the World Was Ending by Hannah Ellis and Nick Wayne. If the world was ending, you'd come over, right? Does seem to be a desire to move closer to family, perhaps a desire to let boundaries fall, to I mean, Taurus, you can be that kind of Four of Pentacles energy of clinging to things, especially being very money orientated or very set on, if you've chosen a certain direction for yourself, you can be very set in that. And this may be asking you to be a little bit more flowing at this time, especially if you want to build a relationship with a family member, perhaps, or a loved one. Okay, I'm going to get you some songs on camera, and then we'll close out the reading. Okay, and if you notice the pause there, it's just because my phone was charging, so I had to go and get it. So what do we have? I'm so warm. Okay, so anyone who's resonated with this reading, anyone who's thinking, yes, this reading is for me, this is making a lot of sense right now. What is the light bulb moment? What is the moment of clarity, the inspiration, what's the main message that you really want to get through right now? Look at Me Now by Maisie Peters. I was shuffling my iPod, A Case of You came on. It reminds me of you, it hit like a hammer. Now I'm pulling over my car, you're blurring the skyline, I'm struck by a blind side. The thing is that hindsight is a bitch. When I've spent all this time trying to cut all my losses, pack you in boxes, sign it and dot it. Oh, I thought I was safe, that I danced you all away in rounds. This dancing energy again. I danced you all away in rounds, right? So maybe a past relationship or something. Thought I'd finally figured it out, how to move along, how to call somewhere home without you. But look at me, look at me, look at me now. I'm missing you more than I should. There's something coming through about trying to get over somebody, or trying to let someone go, or trying to stop thinking about somebody and not being able to. It's like the more you try to let this person go, the more you think about them, the more you dream about them. Like not being able to get somebody off your mind. I think that's in that. I don't know if it's that Prisoner song, but there's another Prisoner song, isn't there? Is it Dua Lipa, where she says, I can't get you off my mind, off my mind. Lord knows I've tried a million times. Yeah, I'm missing you more than I should. I guess I'm not out of the woods. I'm making a fool of myself while you're happy with somebody else, babe. Oh, look at me now, look at me now. I was faking a brave face when we met in the same place, Cold Harbour Lane. But you're giving sips of your whiskey to somebody new. I see you trying to impress her. Got my heart in a blender. Because now it's not me that you want to see in your t-shirt. So I'm trying to cut all my losses. I'm just trying not to repeat myself. I'm off the rails. Cigarettes when I don't smoke. I thought I had it, but I don't. Hail a taxi now. Give them your postcode because it's out of habit. I thought I had it. Aww. Could be something about blenders. Maybe arguing over who gets the blender, giving the blender away. I don't know. Advice, please. Whoever this reading is for, can we get some advice? I've got an advert. Some names while I'm thinking about it. There could be the name Rita, there could be the name Helen, there could be the name Ken. So watch out for those names. The song that randomized for you for your advice is Wolves. Wolves, right? By Sophia Karlsberg. I think it's a cover. In your eyes there's a heavy blue, one to love and one to lose. Sweet divine, a heavy truth. Water or wine, don't make me choose. I want to feel the way that we did that summer night, drunk on a feeling, alone with the stars in the sky. I've been running through the jungle, I've been running with the wolves to get to you. I've been down the darkest alleys, saw the dark side of the moon to get to you. I've looked for love in every stranger, took too much to ease the anger, all for you. Your fingertips, they trace my skin to places I have never been. Blindly, I am following. Break down these walls and come on in. Break down these walls, right? Let's think about breaking through the boundaries. I want to feel the way we did that summer night. Drunk on a feeling, alone with the stars in the sky. I've looked, yeah, and then it just kind of repeats. So, excuse me, sorry, I think I'm talking about things repeating. I had a very big bowl of yogurt, granola and berries, so that's what's happening there. I hope that reading was helpful to you. I hope it made some sense to you. One last thing before I go, this visual here on the bottom of this deck, this is kind of what I was seeing when I was talking about going into, instead of it being a mirror like this though, it's kind of like a black onyx kind of concave, and this thing about walking in and meeting yourself as you know, as you passed. So that thing about in the Science Museum, you can actually kind of shake your own hand, right, because of the optical illusion. So again, this thing about, I don't know, passing yourself as you go through a portal into a different phase. I don't know, just thought I would mention that because it's the visual that I was seeing. All right, I hope that was really helpful to you. Do take care of yourselves. Good luck with whatever this renewal and purification and adventure is. It seems exciting, and I think you are being asked to surrender to this process. So whatever that means for you, and I will see you again soon. Bye, friends. Hopefully with a Pisces reading for my friend, but we'll see. Take care. Bye.